just deep down, I'm like, oh, I don't want it to be something wrong. I don't know. And, I know what it is. It's a sign, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Go figure it out. But you want to talk about something too, not really about recovery, but actually about active addiction, right?
Yeah.
Like you brought up when people are in active addiction, and you asked me when you interviewed me that one day if I ever stole anything. I think that you asked me that. And I was like, no, I might have like took a swig out of somebody's, whiskey bottle or something, but I wasn't like leaving their house with it or anything like that. But some people, and I don't know what it is. And we talked about this or read about this in our psychology class about a month or so ago about people, who just steal and there's no reason for it. There's no
kleptomania.
Yeah, and it's actually called something else. Again,
Right.
if I would have studied a little harder. Well, not if I studied harder, but
Right.
I could tell you what it is. I'd pull it up in 3 clicks. But no, there's a different word for it, and it doesn't make sense why people do this sometimes, but they do, and it's a mental, not a disease, but
Obsession?
no, it's some kind of mental thing. I know that's real. Again, I'm not a doctor.
Right.
But yeah, it's some kind of mental thing. No, it's not a brain disease or anything, but it's like dysfunction or I don't know.
No, I do remember the question I asked you though. It was something to the effect of, like, in desperation, like, what have you done? What's the most desperate thing you've ever done in order to feed your addiction? I think is what it was. Because there's people who have the majority. A lot of people have, I don't know. It's hard to explain, but I know I've been stolen from many, many times, and people that I don't know if I would consider them even friends at the time, and it's not that I was naive. Well, maybe partially naive, but I think a lot of us I wanted to give people the benefit of the doubt, I wasn't going to walk around like one of those people that's all paranoid and I need to lock up everything if, they seem like a nice person. I don't have to worry about them stealing my stuff. Next thing you know, it's like stuff is missing and, you can't be in a spot without knowing where your purse is at and stuff like that. So it's like, you become molded to start acting some kind of way, because you can't trust anybody, because the people that are around you at the end of the day are not out for your best interests. They don't give a crap about you or your things. Well, they do give a crap about them because they'll take them from you and not think twice about it. And that makes me sad. It makes me really sad because, like I said, and I'm not saying I'm a better person than anybody else or that has done that. It's just because whatever they were thinking at the time that made it seem like that was an okay thing to do is whatever it is. I personally can't understand feeling that way. Because I just think I'd be crying or I'd be upset, somebody went through cell phones, something about cell phones. People would take cell phones from you, I think I had 3 cell phones taken from me, right out of my purse.
Wow.
Right, one out of my jacket. Took off my winter jacket and hung it up. And it was like, there's no cell phone anymore. And for 0.3 seconds, I was like, I'm drunk. I don't know. Maybe I set it down, got out to make a phone call and set it down. And then still it's gone, And those people, how do they sleep at night? I'd be like, why? I didn't do anything to these people. I didn't take anything from them. I didn't hurt them. And it just made me pissed and angry. And then I was just angry at myself. Why do I trust people? Why do I trust the world? And then I'm like, why am I hanging out with these people? Was the real question I should have asked myself at the time. But, you live and learn. And obviously, it's at the end of the day, you just have to remember that stuff is just stuff, And I know that's a hard thing to swallow sometimes when you're, especially when it's big things that have been taken from you, large amounts of money, or, who knows, jewelry that's sentimental, but it's just stuff. And, you're still alive, and I don't know. You just got to let it go, because you'll go crazy. And revenge is not the answer. I thought that about that too for a while. That's where your brain goes, like, they effed me up, and I'm gonna, it's just like, I did visit the whole, I hope karma gets them someday, But it wasn't like I was hoping bad things would happen to them. It was just like, well, they'll get theirs, if they continue on whatever, if they think it's okay to do that. Eventually they're going to steal from the wrong person who is going to think that revenge is the way to go, and things aren't going to look so hot. But, that's not me. So whatever is what it is.
Yeah, that's a tough one, because some drugs, it makes people so blind. And one of them that in my personal opinion, at least with dealing with people that have done that, is meth. Mm-hmm. Is probably, I'd say, the worst that I've heard of people, doing crazy things to get more. Mm-hmm. And one was this woman. She sold her mom and dad's, like, I think it was like their 50th anniversary ring, or it was something like that, 25 or 50 year, and stole it, hocked it.
Yeah.
And like, wow, like, to think, like, what kind of person would do that? And you have to think back, like, okay, what kind of person would be in this kind of mind to do that? A normal person, no. Mm-hmm. It's not
that person probably no in a normal state of mind. Mm-hmm. It's, because we were talking about that earlier. It's like, it's not that person. It's their using mentality that is making them do that. And
people will say, like, well, just because they're sick people, and it's hard for a lot of people to stomach that and to swallow that. But for me, it wasn't my ring. I heard about it.
Yeah.
And I just thought, wow, that's sad.
Yeah.
And I felt bad for her, because how was she ever going to let that go?
Right. Yeah.
That's something that she did that's going to be remembered forever.
Yeah.
And yeah, they can replace the ring.
Yeah.
But I think for them, and I think it was the mom who told me about it, like, what are we battling here? Like, what are we up against that my child is going to turn my child to this? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's like, wow. Like, yeah, like, I feel bad, for the whole situation. But, the ring can be, like you said, can be replaced. And
yeah.
But that is burned into her brain forever. And to this day, still battling, man. Mm-hmm. I wish the best for her. Mm-hmm. She knows that I've reached out and said, hey, here's a couple places you might want to check into. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of codependency there with her. And I don't know. You can't really make somebody get better. But she has grandchildren now. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, put that stuff down now. Like, come on. And she had a few years of sobriety. And it just shows you how quickly one time of, I can do it this one time. It's not going to, it's not going to make me, like, back into addict again. And that kind of thinking will get you swept right back into it again. And it's a lot easier to say no than it is to try to get out of it.
Yeah. What's your take on the whole, making amends things? Like, and we're not bringing this up, or at least I'm not bringing this up to try to make any kind of point, like, make people feel bad. If you are someone who has, made poor decisions and, stolen from people that you love, or, your family, whatever the case may be. Because a lot of people, because your family's right there. So you have more access to those things. And then some people are like, well, I don't feel bad if I steal from strangers, or whatever. It's like, no. But I'm not bringing this up to kind of like have, rehatch, things that people have done and feel bad about it. I'm just, it's one of those things where, I don't know, it's you can't, changing who you are is the best thing that you can do.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah. And to just learn from, like, I don't ever have to do that again, And that's the best thing that you can do to honor, the mistakes that you've made.
Yeah, because, I have taken, like, pop bottles. Of course, we live in Michigan. It's 10-cent refund deposit on pop bottles. So you get enough of them bad boys, you can get a little bit of liquor. Mm-hmm. And there were times I cruised over to Mama's crib and see how many pop cans she had, and I'd take them back. And
isn't that you doing a favor for her?
That's what I thought. And she'd be like, hey. And so then she would charge me $30. She's like, I don't care how much was there. I'm charging you $30. But I think she forgives me for those, just the life I'm living today.
Yeah.
It's such a different. She can keep those pop bottles. I'll give her mine now. I'm above those now.
Yeah.
But yeah, just the sorries can only go on for so long. Then you don't even want to say them anymore. They don't want to hear them anymore.
Yeah.
The only thing you can do, at least for me, I found the only thing I could do was to just show them that I'm sorry by actually throwing 100% into this new life and this new lifestyle, just living it. I had to be 100% all in. And I was dancing around with it for so long, like just the thought of you can not drink ever again scared the hell out of me, and I didn't want that. Now it's like, why would I drink again? Like, that's stupid. Like, it's total opposite. Like, once you get enough distance from it, you're like, why in the hell did I even think that was fun? Like, why did I even want to numb myself like that? But yeah, so just throwing myself all into it, though, is what I had to do. And maybe that's what other people have done too, but I don't know. For me, I had to be 100% in order to make this amends.
Yeah.
To my family.
I remember this one story about that a man was telling at one of the meetings that I went to in Ann Arbor. And he was saying that I think that he came across a lady who had set her purse down in like a restaurant or some kind of common area, what have you. And her wallet was, sitting out on top. And he just went in and took the cash out of there. And it was like, I don't know, $80 or something. And he felt terrible about it. And obviously he didn't know who this lady was then and definitely doesn't know who she is now or where she is or what have you. And he said that he went and gave an $80 donation like years ago to a homeless shelter, like in her name. Not in her name, but, in her honor or what have you, just to kind of like clear his own mind, I guess. Kind of settle his own mind for that particular time. I don't know. I guess you could do something like that. But
yeah.
He brought it up at a meeting for a reason. So
yeah, if you can, if there's something that's keeping you stuck like that, like the mom's ring, or like if you took $80 from a lady's purse, like, yeah, you're gonna have to make that right somehow. Otherwise, you're just gonna keep thinking about it, and you're gonna think you're just such a bad person. Do something good. Now, did it make that lady happy? No. But he did, pay it back to where he felt, okay, we're even.
Yeah.
And.
Yeah. And I think he was saying something like, if I could find her, I would. And if I could tell her I was sorry to her face, I would. And explain where I was at, I would. But, it was tear-jerking. Yeah. But. That's a good story.
Well, do you have anything else for tonight?
No.
Marty Liston. Okay. All right. Well, thanks for listening to this episode of the 217 Recovery Podcast. We'll be back Tuesday, and I'll be